This program is brought to you by Simulus Clothing, official title sponsors of Formula Virtual Racing. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Formula Virtual Racing, brought to you by Simulus Clothing. We are here for the Italian Grand Prix. It's round number 3 of the championship. It's been an absolutely exceptional one so far, and we are here for another adventure in season number 10. It's just myself here this evening, no Brendan joining alongside me. Unfortunately, it is just me bringing you this evening's coverage, but it still should hopefully be an absolutely fantastic race. You can see the tyres there on your screen, folks. We will be getting rid of them just for the time being, just it takes up a little bit too much of the screen, but this should be a fantastic battle for pole position here at the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo E. Dino Ferrari, or as we all know it as Imola. Of course, many famous moments here in Imola throughout Formula Virtual Racing history. We've been here twice. We've had two different winners in the form of Preston Brennan and Luke Davies. It's been the Brits who have taken over Imola, and we will see, can maybe Luke Davies take another special win here in Imola. He will be doing a good job to do so, as have I still left the commentator's graphic up on screen? I absolutely have. There we go. It's gone. It should be there we go. I knew I took down one graphic. I took down the wrong one, but there we go. Our Simulus Clothing sponsor is back on screen. They wouldn't be too happy with me if I took it off, but we should have a really good race here in Imola then. As we were saying, Luke Davies has taken a win here in the past. He won the second ever Italian Grand Prix here at Imola. Both have been under the Italian Grand Prix. We've never had Monza and Imola in the same season, and it's going to be no Monza for this season. We do have Imola, of course, which has been on the calendar since season number 5. It was McLaren who won the first time round. It was Mercedes who won the second. It was Luke Davies who was in the Mercedes. Actually, it was Preston Brennan who was in the McLaren, I believe. He was joined alongside Jake Marsh, if I remember correctly. I'm probably completely wrong with that, but that wouldn't be the first time I've been completely wrong. Right then, let's get qualifying underway then, shall we, for the Italian Grand Prix here at Imola. It's going to be Tim Dunhire who gets us underway first, heading in towards the Verante Tamburello through turn number 1, 2 and 3. Bit of a wobble there for Tim Dunhire. You can see he's gone off. Oh, a bit of lag actually for Tim Dunhire. He's been suffering with his internet a little bit the past few weeks, and I think that's unfortunately coming back to bite him. Of course, home team Scuderia Ferrari here, but it's actually AlphaTauri who are located a little bit closer to the circuit here in Imola. AlphaTauri, of course, in the nearby locality of Firenze, and Ferrari, obviously, of course, in Maranello. Purple sector 1 for Tyler Pistilli, 25 flat, as he heads through the first sector. Leo Toole starting a lap as well here in qualifying. Couldn't tell you who'll be the first across the start-finish line. It's Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Think it actually could be him, unless it's Thomas Main who is coming towards the start-finish line. No, he's just heading in towards Tosa. So it is Jonathan Jurgensmeyer who will be the first man to complete a lap of the Imola circuit, heading through the second ravazza of turn number 18 and across the start-finish line now. Here comes Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. It'll be a 1:4:15.2 is the time to beat. His teammate Andrew Davis is going to cross the line as well to start a run, and here comes not Neil Tartle, actually the other AlphaTauri of Aaron McFall across the start-finish line to also start a timed run. Leo Toole will go to the top. Tyler Pastilli invalidating his lap, and no time on the board for Thomas Main yet either. He is just heading through the middle sector. Lewis McWilliam then in towards turn number 17 and 18, both called Ravatsa. That's Timden Hire, who's gone to third. Borbune in fourth. Then it is Jake Marsh in fifth, not a representative time. Here comes the Scotsman across the start-finish line, and he's on pole by 0.8 of a second. That lap very beatable, a 1:14.3. Thomas Main goes to second. Next across the line then will be the Red Bull of Liam Houseman. No, he's actually invalidated. It was Rick Debray who is next across the line. Here comes Luke Davies then. He's going to be the next man, and that'll be 2 tenths shy off of Lewis McWilliams' pole lap. Luke can go quicker though, I know he can, but we'll have to wait and see, can he deliver here in difficult circumstances. There goes Liam Houseman across the start-finish line, but it was an invalid time. And then the Aston Martin, cognizant of Leroy Van Schendel, has gone to fourth. Decent lap there for Leroy. Aston Martin 3-4 for the time being. Still plenty of times to go on the board. Andrew Davis has invalidated his one, as has Morris Stumer. Liam Houseman still pushing as he heads through the Varante Villeneuve and up towards Tosa. Do apologise, folks, if my mic was way too loud. Should be much better now, but that's what I was just checking the audio. It seems to all be running smoothly. Here comes Liam Houseman then in towards the Acqua Minerale. That's the name of that corner. I always get the Italian corners wrong. If Khalil's watching, he'll remember my absolute abomination of trying to pronounce Monza corner names, but that is Acqua Minerale, and then this is of course the Variante Alta. And then down towards the two Ravazzas. Not a bad run this from Liam Houseman. Let's listen on board. Not a bad run there for Liam Houseman at all. I'm going to try fix the audio issue so it doesn't sound like I'm screaming down your headphones, which is what it currently sounds like. Cam Doger is on our left hand heading through Acqua Minerale as he is heading down. Oh, hopefully that sounds a little bit better, folks. I do hope it sounds a little bit better. I just decided to join the Discord call and see does that fix it. But here comes Colin Doger then heading down towards Ravatsa. His teammate currently second. Luke Davies second is a position he's becoming all too familiar with. Didn't finish second in Austria, of course, after a poor pit call. That's going to be Cam Doger up to sixth here in qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix. Not a bad job at all for Cam. Is Jake Marsh on a proper time run? Believe he is. He's actually on the mediums, is Jake, so not setting a proper time. Let's have a listen in on board here with Matthew Stotts. Hopefully the audio is a little bit better now, folks. Do apologise for it, of course. Hopefully it is a little bit better. I'm not really too sure what's happening because I didn't change any setting from week in, week out, and it seemed to be working for last week, but let me know if that sounds okay. Here comes Matthew Stotson. There is a Mercedes off on the right-hand side. That, I believe, is Enrique Perez, who was just getting out of the way. I suppose that's one way to do it. Matthew Stotson heading down in towards the Ravazzas. Okay, the audio issues seem to be fixed, so I'm going to stop talking about that. Here comes Matthew Stotson heading in towards, and whoa! Okay, Matthew is here to play. That's second position for Williams. An excellent job there, and Matthew Stotts has gone to second. Really good stuff from the American. He qualified well in Austria, of course, and didn't have the best race pace, but Matthew Stotts doing absolutely excellent there to take second position. That's Habib McCook round. Habib actually missing a front wing. Not too sure where he's crashed there because he is missing a front wing before we're going to head back to pit lane. But that's unfortunate for Habib McCook, actually taking a little bit of a spin round. Seems like one of our Aston Martins is off as well. Think that could have just been actually Leroy Vicenzo just letting a couple of cars through, which is what you've got to do, of course. Let's see then, Vincendel heading in towards Ravatsa, and he's going to be the next man to set off another qualifying endeavour. Lewis McWilliam just in front of him. Let's take a look at our current championship leader then, as we can get the driver's standings up on your screen now, folks. It's Lewis McWilliam, of course, who leads ahead of Luke Davies, only 2 points separating them, so Luke doing an excellent job to recover an Austria race which was dominated by the Scotsman. Thomas Main in third, followed by Jake Marsh, who is in fourth, and then Tyler Pastilli in fifth. That's your world's driver's standings before the Italian Grand Prix here. And second one, Lewis syndrome is back. He's invalidated his next attempt here in Imola. Luke Davies slightly down. What about Thomas Main as he heads through the Varante Villeneuve? He's going to be slightly up, so a tenth of a second up for Thomas Main. It's about a third of a tenth down for Luke Davies, and Lewis McWilliam, of course, invalidating. He's not getting a lap in, so he's just going to have to back off at the time being. How's Leroy Vinchendel doing? He's currently heading in towards the Varante Alta, so we'll wait and see what Leroy's doing. Yeah, good middle sector from Leroy. It's coming up purple. Don't quite think it is, but he's improving by 2/10 of a second. So far enough for a position over Liam Houseman. He'll be looking for a little bit more into this final sector so he can try and get the spot over Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, and then Thomas Main in fourth position maybe, but Thomas, of course, is improving himself. Here comes Leroy Vinchendel then in towards the final corner. Let's see what he can do as he heads across the start-finish line. It's going to be third in the grid for Leroy. Excellent improvement there. Here comes Luke Davies across the start-finish line. 0.8 of a second down. Thomas getting a bit of a tow from the Alpine in front. This will help him as Thomas Main goes to pole here in Imola. That's a great job by Thomas. 0.01 here, and Leo Toole snatches it. Really good stuff from Leo Toole. The Alfa Romeo beats Thomas Main to the pole, and Thomas now with work to do. He thought he had that one in the banker maybe, but Leo Toole beating it and taking pole so far here in Imola. That's a very decent job from the Irishman. Lee has never won here in Formula Virtual Racing. He'll be looking to do that. Lewis McWilliam is setting off on another qualifying lap. He, of course, invalidated very early. Let's see what the sector time is in towards Toza. He's improving by nearly enough to go on to pole here this evening. Let's see then as he heads around towards the Variante, or the Aqua Minerale, apologies. Let's see what Lewis McWilliam can do, heading up the hill and in towards the chicane. Yeah, Lewis is becoming Lewis again, isn't he? He's tracking well here in qualifying, and he's going to try to take pole position for this Italian Grand Prix. I mean, he's definitely the favourite. Definitely by far the favourite. He's the favourite on our poll as well. It's 38% for Lewis McWilliam when he heads through the final corner. Let's see what he can do across the start-finish line. And yeah, 113.8. I wouldn't even be so sure that's going to be beaten. That's an excellent lap by Lewis McWilliam to take pole here in Imola. 6 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in qualifying. Still plenty of time to get a lap on the board. Luke Davies then, down in 7th, not improving. Luke is going to have to do something here in qualifying if he wants to try find a bit of time here in the session. Currently 7th, not really where he wants to be, is it? Luke's got to just be a tad bit better. And qualifying is something Luke has struggled at, really, here in his Formula Virtual Racing career. He's struggled for form, especially on hot laps, and Imola would not be Luke's favourite circuit, despite taking a win here. He doesn't like the new circuit here at Imola. He's first on F1 2021, that is for sure. Luke Davies down in 7th position. Lewis McWilliam currently on pole. Jake Marsh is now on his first lap on a set of soft tyres, heading in towards Toza. 0.9 of a second up. That's a bit more like it for Jake Marsh. Scored a podium, of course, last time out in Austria. Came from 19th on the grid to 2nd. Took a Driver of the Day award with that as well, as voted by you at home. Heading in towards then Piratella, and down towards turn number 11 and 12 of Aqua Minerale. Let's see what the middle sector split is like then for Jake Marsh in his Williams. Williams currently sits 4th and 19th in this session. Jake will be looking for a little bit better than that. He's 1.7 seconds up, so this currently puts him a second off pole, but still plenty of time to find in the remainder of this lap. I imagine he'll be looking to go somewhere close to the top 5 with this one. I imagine he's got 3/10 in the final sector compared to his medium lap. He'll be looking to go somewhere in the top... Oh, Jake! Oh no, Jake Marsh invalidates. And he was a 1:14.3, which would have put him well within the top 5. Oh, unlucky for Jake Marsh. He's going to go again, though, on this set of soft tyres. He didn't bail into the pit lane. The Brit is going to go again here in qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix. Aaron McFall starts another lap as well. He's 4 seconds down on his lap. Rick Debray invalidating as well. Nils Hartl running a Ayrton Senna tribute here in Imola. He's looking for a good result in his AlphaTauri. He's sporting a Senna tribute, of course. Ayrton Senna unfortunately lost his life here at Imola, so he is, or Nils Hartl is commemorating that one. Thomas Main pulls into the pit lane, or apologies, Matthew Stotts pulls into the pit lane. He wasn't able to find more time, and Jake is invalidated again. Oh no, is this going to be another horror qualifying for Jake Marsh? Of course, last time out, he did have a qualifying suspension, so there was not much Jake could do. But this time round, it's not going much better for Jake Marsh here in qualifying, and it's his own doing this time round. He needs to do that a little bit better, but Andrew Davis heading up towards turn number 14 of Variante Alta, 0.6 of a second up. This would currently put him into the top 10. Oh, a little bit of a slide off the exit there, and he straightened it up nicely, but not really the best of runs for Andrew Davis heading through there. He's going to have to try and do a little bit better if he gets one more lap. I'm not even too sure if he'd get one more lap here in this session. And here he goes then, Andrew Davis across the start finish line. Yeah, that's going to be 13th spot, didn't even get in the top 10. A lot of work to do for Andrew Davis. Enrique Perez goes to 12th and currently improving. Let's have a listen in. Coming up as purple sectors for Enrique Perez, but I'm not too sure that is actually legitimate. He's going to have to try and do a little bit better through the middle sector. Still trying to fix the microphone issues, folks. Do apologise for that. I'm not entirely sure what is actually happening. There goes Enrique Perez into the top 10. That's actually not bad for Enrique. He's done well there. That is quite solid for Enrique Perez. Here we go then. Final lap in qualifying here in Imola. It's always a very interesting one, and it's going to be a battle for pole, I believe, between Lewis McWilliam, Leo Toole and Thomas Main, and you would like to think that Luke Davies can get up there as well, but I'm not too sure he can. Let me know in the stream chat below, folks, if the microphone is okay, because obviously I'm trying to judge it while commentating, which is not the easiest thing to do. I don't know if you ever spoke while trying to listen to your own voice, but it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. But let's have a look then. Leo Toole gets off and underway here in qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix. He's going to be the first man heading towards the Variante Tamburello. Bit of traffic here, and that Alpine needs to get out of the way pretty pronto. Goes off onto the gravel trap to get out of the way. They were warned in the driver's briefing, make sure there's no one in front of you, or apologies, make sure there's no one behind you as you leave the pit lane. And Leo Toole muddled up, goes on the gravel. This won't be an improvement for Lee. He's going to have to back off and go again. Has the time in hand to do so. He can do that. He can back off, save the battery, and go again. Here comes Thomas Main then, in towards the Variante Villeneuve, down towards Toza. Thomas Main not improving on his lap either. What's Lewis McWilliam doing? Entering in towards the Variante Villeneuve and exiting it is where the sector split time will come in. Here comes Lewis McWilliam. He's up by 1/10 of a second. Very decent stuff from Lewis McWilliam. Let's see then, heading through Piratella. This is decent for Lewis. Lee obviously backing off this time. Thomas has now invalidated. That's unfortunate for Thomas Main. Andrew Davis retiring from the session. I would love them to know what the microphone issues are. As Luke Davies improves to 4th. So Luke now in a reasonable starting position, but he's 5/10 off pole. There's just no one who can beat Lewis McWilliam, really, is there? Lee into the Variante Tamburello. Lewis has invalidated, which does technically open the door here in qualifying. Matthew Stotts invalidating Leroy Van Schendel, invalidating Liam Houseman, invalidating Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, just getting ready to start a lap. Cam Dulger 14 seconds down. A lot of mistakes here in qualifying. I think it's going to be a bit of a lackluster ending. Let's see what Tim Denhire can do as he rounds the final corner, trying to start his final lap of the session. It's going to be only 15. And Tim, don't do that. There's other cars still on laps. Oh no, it was his lag in the end. Is Leo Toole finding time? No, he's backed off, heading through Aqua Minerale. Thomas Main trying again after an invalidated lap. There's improvement for, I believe, Habib McCook, who's not going to get a lap in here in this session. He's invalidated all his times. Let's see what Thomas Main can do then. Coming up towards the middle sector. He's the man who can beat Lewis McWilliam here. He's not going to. And he's not even close. It's going to be Lewis McWilliam on pole by an absolute landslide here, unless Liam Houseman can produce one of his magical laps. He absolutely cannot. Cam Dulger is invalidated as well, meaning we are waiting on Pastilli and Main. Here comes Tyler Pastilli rounding the final corner. This would be truly sensational if he could steal it here. Is he going to track for pole? No, it's only good enough for 11th in the end. What about Thomas Main? He's backed off at time. He's going to take the checker, and that is going to be the end of qualifying here, I believe, as everybody make mistakes in their final lap. Not really a lot they could do. But it is Lewis McWilliam who takes another pole here in his Formula Virtual Racing career. He's quite good at this all qualifying thing, isn't he? Lewis McWilliam, of course, the record pole sitter, taking his 30th Formula Virtual Racing pole position. What an absolute blinder of a lap. And you'd have to think he's going to be favoured for the race here, because Imola, not an easy track to overtake on. You'd have to think he is most certainly favoured for this Grand Prix victory. We'll have the full race results coming up in a moment, folks. And then we'll have the main Italian Grand Prix here in Formula Virtual Racing. Here is your full qualifying results then. It's Lewis McWilliam on pole for the Italian Grand Prix, Leo Toole in second, followed by Thomas Main in third, Luke Davies in fourth, followed by Matthew Stotts in fifth, Leroy Van Schendel in sixth with Liam Houseman in seventh, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in eighth, followed by Cam Dulger in ninth. Then it's Aaron McFall, Tyler Pastilli, Jake Marsh, Bob Bune, Enrique Perez, Nils Hartle, Morris Stumer, Andrew Davis, Rick Debray, Tim Denhire and Habib McCook. That is your starting grid for the Italian Grand Prix. Folks, we'll be back in a couple of moments. This program is brought to you by Simulus Clothing, official title sponsors of Formula Virtual Racing. Ladies and gentlemen, as we go racing here in Imola, it started very early. Lewis McWilliam gets a good race start here. Leo Toole diving down towards turn number one. There's no timer on the game, unfortunately, so we did have to cut the intro slightly short, heading down towards turn number one. This car's gone everywhere. There is somebody off the circuit. That is Bob Bune, who's gone, as well as Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, both gone off the circuit here in the early stages of this Grand Prix. And Morris Stumer and Enrique Perez both out of the race. A fast start here in Imola as Lewis McWilliam and Leo Toole getting away well. Great start for Leroy Van Schendel. He's up 3 spots into third. And then Luke Davies in fourth, or in fifth, I should say. He's down one spot, as well as Thomas Main, due to that fast start by Leroy Van Schendel. Do apologise for the little bit of a moment there, getting into the race late, but this game is absolutely atrocious, so we've had to start into it a little bit late. And once again, apologies for the microphone issues. I haven't a clue what's going on. Let's see then. Timden Hire almost going straight across the chicane. It's a medium tyre start for Lewis McWilliam and Leroy Van Schendel and Thomas Main, but Leo Toole on the hards, getting away well. And now Lewis McWilliam leads us across for a very quick opening lap here in Imola. There's Aaron McFall already into the pit lane. That's a very early stop for Aaron. That's a very early stop for Aaron McFall. I'm not too sure why, but he is into the pit lane at the very early stages. And here comes Jake Marsh and Nils Hartle. We're side by side through the chicane. Marsh, I think, has just been shoved off it almost, and now falling down the grid a little bit. But Carndoga trying to attack Tyler Pistilli as well in towards turn number 6. For 6th position, not quite getting it done. Lewis McWilliam is gone up the front. This is going to be a classic Lewis McWilliam drive, I think. He is absolutely gone up the front. Candoga getting a good start on the soft tyres. He'll be looking to get towards his teammate Luke Davies. Let's see how many positions he's gained off the start. Only gained 2, but is attacking Pistilli in towards the Variante Alta. That's Habib Makuka's round. That is Habib Makuka's round at the back. Very unfortunate there for Habib, who has gone round, and he's in 13th spot due to the amount of cars we did lose on lap number 1. And that's Habib Makuk looking to try recover in this race, hopefully towards the end of it. Lewis McWilliam sets the fastest lap of this Grand Prix. The two Aston Martins look very even on pace here, and it seems like it might actually be Thomas Main is the quicker of the two, despite Leroy ahead here in this Grand Prix. Please let me know down below if the mic issues are bearable. I'm really trying to get them fixed, but being on my own here, it's slightly difficult to do so. Carndoga in 7th spot, still looking to attack Tyler Pistilli, not able to get the job done. Lewis is gone, 2 seconds. This one's done, almost, for Lewis McWilliam. Unless he makes some sort of rare mistake or gets screwed over by a strategy or a safety car, this one's done for Lewis McWilliam. He's checked out. The pace is absolutely insane by the Scotsman. Luke Davies struggling to keep up with Thomas Main here. It seems like Luke is not really performing to his high standard, and he's going to have to do just that tad bit better here. What a shocker for Alpine. Jurgensmeyer exits the pit lane. They've both made a pit stop already in this race, as have Aaron McFall and Rick Debray in 15th and 16th. Not a great race start for some folks. It is a great race start if your name is Lewis McWilliam, though. 2.5 second lead already here at this early stage of the Grand Prix. Leo Toole looking to attack, or looking to defend from Leroy Van Schendel, I should say. The Aston Martin is up to second here in this Grand Prix, and Callum Doga gets past Tyler Pistilli on the soft tyres. We sort of expected that to come, and now that is Tyler Pistilli up and into second position in this, or into second position. That's Tyler Pistilli down and into 7th position here in this Grand Prix. Thomas Main looking to attack Leo Toole. Lee starting to struggle on the hard tyres here, as he is down and in to 3rd place Lee after a great race start. Thomas Main seems to be struggling just in the dirty air a little bit here in 4th spot. Let's ride on board for Aqua Minerali, see is he getting any sort of dirty air, and no, seems to be okay for Thomas Main. As there was a yellow flag, and that's Aaron out. That is Aaron McFall out after Tamburello. That car is in pieces. Would not be surprised if we get a safety car here. No, seems like we're all good and green flag. Thought that would have definitely been a safety car, but no, we're going to carry on here in Imola, and Lewis McWilliam is still going to keep his 3.2 second lead. It seems like Leo Toole is really struggling here in this Grand Prix, and Thomas Main is going to have to try and get past ASAP. He's going to do that now, and he's going to try and get past the Alfa Romeo, heading in towards turn number 1, still side by side as they enter in towards the Tamburello, and that is Thomas Main up and through past Leo Toole. Lee now down to 4th, probably going to get attacked by Luke Davies here. Down towards Piratella, it is definitely Lee who's struggling, because Luke Davies is starting to claw in slowly on the Alfa Romeo in fourth. Luke didn't have the best of Austrian Grand Prix, but it was a great start for him in Las Vegas, so still only 2 points off the championship lead, and doing a fine job. I would say fine job in keeping up with Lewis McWilliam in this race, but no one is in the same world as Lewis. Is this how Formula 1 feels? Is this how non-Verstappen fans feel? As Andrew Davis out of the Grand Prix. He's crashed through Tamburello as well. That is Andrew Davis out. Surely this one's going to bring a safety car. He's off right on the racing line. I think we're going to see if we go on board with Lewis McWilliam. No, the car's gone. 4 cars already out of this Italian Grand Prix. A disaster so far for some, a disaster for Alpine, a disaster for Al McFall, Morris Stumer and Enrique Perez, and for the broadcast, quite frankly. But they're all out of the Italian Grand Prix. It's a great race so far if you're an Aston Martin fan. Leroy Vincendel in second, Thomas Main in third. Good race if you're a McLaren fan as well, actually. Luke in 5th and Khan in 7th. That's still good team points. Might not be what Luke is looking for in the Drivers' Championship. Let's see then. Heading in towards Acqua Minerali. Will Aston Martin swap their 2 drivers around? Because they've lost this race as it stands, and that's Habib Makouk out as well. They're dropping like flies here in this Grand Prix. That's on the entrance in towards Tosa. Habib Makouk out of this Grand Prix as well. We're down to 15. And they all are drivers just crashing by themselves. There's a lot of mistakes here in Imola. Not proving to be the easiest of circuits for these drivers. Of course, Imola, only the 2nd circuit, along with the Nürburgring, to host 3 different groups of Grand Prix. Mistake for Leroy Vincendel. Here comes Thomas Main. He's up and through and past his teammate. That's definitely not a planned move for Aston Martin. That was a mistake from Leroy Vincendel, because he now has Leo Toole looking to attack behind him. Here comes Lee, trying around the outside in towards the Tamburello. Lee breaks later than Leroy. Still, and he's been tapped round, and both go round. No, Leroy and down to 7th position here in this Grand Prix. Awful for Leo Toole, and he's losing spots. Pistilli was looking to attack Leroy Vincendel as well. I wonder has Luke Davies picked up a bit of damage potentially, hence why he lost a spot to Pistilli. Pistilli up to 3rd now, gets past Leroy Vincendel as well. What is the status report on Luke Davies' front wing, crucially, for this championship fight? Because Lewis could be in a very good spot as it stands. He's no end plate. He has no end plate, and Aaron McFall saying safety car was turned off. Not too sure why that's happened. Thank you for the message, Aaron. I don't know if that popped up on your screen, but it popped up on my one through PlayStation messages. Safety car is turned off. The settings are copied like every week, and they all just go and change themselves. Thanks, Cody's. Absolute disaster, as per usual, from the makers of this brilliant Formula 1 game. Red flags also, well, they're turned off anyways. Very unfortunate, as it seems like we're... Aaron, if you're watching, please stop messaging. We're trying to run a broadcast here. Heading in towards turn number 1. Thomas Main making a mistake, actually, and it seems like Liam Hausmann is looking to defend from Nils Hartl. Lap 8 of 32 here in Imola, and Luke Davies is losing his positions, and Aaron... Yeah, I don't really know why safety cars turned off. That's Matthew Stotts out of the race now, and these guys are dropping like absolute flies here in this Grand Prix. There is Matthew Stotts out of the race, and the Williams has not had a good time in this Grand Prix. He was so quick in qualifying as well. He seems to be so quick every week in qualifying, but unfortunately it just doesn't transcribe into race pace. Very disappointing for Matthew Stotts. And I do apologise if the mic issue is continuing. Everything's an absolute disaster this week, it seems. And Leroy Vincendel pulled into the pit lane. I'm surprised Luke didn't too, because he's losing big time due to this tyre damage. And now, Leo Toole is out of the race as well. They're all dropping like flies in this Grand Prix. I really don't know what's happening, but every driver has lost the ability to drive, except Lewis McWilliam, it seems. Aaron, I don't know how many times I have to tell you, please stop messaging me. But let's see then, heading in towards this corner. That's a good move from Leroy Vinchendel, straight out of the pit lane. And the Haas heading in towards to Tozen. Folks, we're going to take a quick break here from the broadcast. We will be back in a moment. This program is brought to you by Simulus Clothing, official title sponsors of Formula Virtual Racing. Welcome back to Imola, ladies and gentlemen. There we go, my phone is working. It all kicked off, so we decided to restart the Grand Prix. Sometimes it's better just to get a fresh start at things than to try carry on in the mess. My microphone probably still isn't working, but we are about to get going here in Imola. The way this is going to work is the race has been reduced to 22 laps. We are restarting from the qualifying grid, so we're not restarting from a sort of mixy-uppy grid. We have 17 drivers to start. Leo Toole and Andrew Davis and Habib McCook will not be starting the race. That is just due to time implications on their front. Hopefully everything is okay. Hopefully microphone levels and stuff are okay. Please do let me know if anything is wrong on that front. You can see the pit building here in Imola. We're not playing any advertisements or anything, just in case we miss the race start like the last one. So basically, you can just null and void the last 11 laps. This is the Italian Grand Prix. It's a shortened distance, 35% instead of 50. Not that much. It's going to make strategy different. It's going to make strategy very different here, because I think you might be able to do a soft medium if you just about stretch it, but we still could see plenty of drivers starting on the hard tyres. Once again, a reminder, the circuit here in Imola, it's a 4.909 kilometre circuit, 19 corners, 10 to the left and 9 to the right. Lap record, I have it written down that it belongs to Lewis Hamilton in 2002, but I'm not sure if you notice the implications in that one as much as I do. Yeah, I'm going to imagine that it was 2020, not 2002. So the drivers are just selecting the strategy, loading their setups, and we are going to get going for the Italian Grand Prix. Well, hopefully. With the way things are going, we mightn't. If you're still watching, please do leave a comment down below. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting ready to go. Oh, we have a formation lap all of a sudden. I'm not entirely sure why that's... What is the game? We don't run formation lap. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not sure why there is a formation lap, but there is. Okay, we have a formation lap now, seemingly. We didn't have a safety car in the last one. We have a formation lap in this one. I checked all the settings to make sure there was no formation lap and there was safety cars. But, yeah, anyways. So it's the mediums for our top three in the form of Lewis McWilliam, Thomas Main and Luke Davies. It's softs for Matthew Stotts, softs for Leroy Vinchendel, softs for Liam Houseman, softs for Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, then it's mediums for Cam Dolger, softs for Aaron McFall, and then it is mediums for Basili Martian Bune, softs for Enrique Perez, mediums for Nils Hartl, Morris Stumer, Rick Debray, and Tim Den Heyer. Let us know down below then who you're rooting for in this Grand Prix. because it should be very interesting. Well, we got a taste of the pace, didn't we? And I think some of these drivers know what they have to do if they want to beat Lewis McWilliam, and that is get in front of him before he gets a chance to saunter off into the sunset. Lewis lines up on his grid slot. Hopefully they all manage to do it somewhat successfully. That would be absolutely fantastic if they could do it. While they're lining up on the grid, then I'm going to try and fix this microphone one more time as we get ready for the Italian Grand Prix. Hopefully that's a little bit better than, folks. I think that might have fixed it, actually. That seems to have fixed it, potentially. Let us see, then. Oh, Timden Hire has botched his parking. That could cause us a little bit of trouble. Oh, Luke and Jake are already out of the Grand Prix. Hopefully they can get back in the race, otherwise we may have another little bit of hassle here. And, yep, it's broken again. This is going swell, isn't it? It seems like that it is Tyler. Okay. Well, something's gone slightly wrong now and again, hasn't it? Well done. Yeah, Panguru wanted points for Alfa Romeo. He's not even going to get either of them to start the race. If you've better things to be doing with your Saturday, folks, I would advise going to do them now. This could be a long one, but we will hopefully be back in a few moments. This program is brought to you by Simulus Clothing, official title sponsors of Formula Virtual Racing. They say life is like a box of chocolates. You take one bit of bad luck and then it just gives you the whole tray. Well then, here we go again. This is the third attempt at running the Italian Grand Prix this evening. Let's try and hopefully get this one on the road. I tried to start with a life is like a box of chocolates quote. It didn't work. That's just me trying to keep spirits high from what's been an absolute catastrophe. But we should hopefully be getting onto the grid now and getting going for a 22 lap race. Same distance, same stuff as the last time, because 10 laps, it would have taken about 12-ish minutes. I don't think it's been 12 minutes since we tried to attempt that race start, so we will keep it at 35% and full points. The fans are loving this one above the pit lane, absolutely enthralled. And hopefully my microphone issues are fixed as well. Here we go then, no formation lap this time. It's the third attempt at running the Italian Grand Prix. And we go racing here in Imola. Lewis McWilliam gets an equally good race start for the third time. Great launch by Luke Davies this time and Matthew Stotts as they head down towards turn number 1. The Williams on the outside, Luke Davies on the inside trying to get the jump on Thomas Main as they head into turn 1. Stotts is off in the gravel at the first corner. Luke Davies and Leroy Vincendel side by side now. Vincendel up 3 spots up towards second position. There is a Haas off in the background. It's Tim Denhire who has gone backwards. Unfortunate for him. I think he's taken a spin round. Liam Houseman looking up the inside of Thomas Main now as well. Can he try get the job done? The Red Bull is almost up and alongside, but not quite. Leroy Vincendel with a great race start up to second. He's nailed his starts on every occasion. It's mediums for the top 4, softs then for the next 3, then mediums for Con Duggar, Tyler Pistilli, and then mediums for the rest of the field apart from Matthew Stotts. Stotts got a great race start initially, but it was not there to follow. Lewis McWilliam leads the Italian Grand Prix by quite a margin here in the early stages. Pistilli up past Con Duggar, that's for 8th spot. Oh, and the mic issues are still there, folks, I believe. I do apologise. I don't really know what's happening, because this has never happened before, but it's happening now, and it seems like everything is happening to now. It's just one of those evenings, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? But here we go then. Luke Davies trying to tuck into the slipstream of Leroy Vincendel. What the best Luke can probably finish here in this Grand Prix is now third. Here comes Luke Davies tucked into the slipstream of Leroy Vincendel. Is he going to try around the outside heading through Tamburello? Not going to work on this occasion. Trying the up and under and going to try and get back past, heading in towards the Volante Villeneuve. Is it going to work out here? No, it's not. And Luke Davies is going to have to sit behind for the time being. Heading up towards Tosa now. Luke Davies, still 0.3 of a second back. They seem a lot more easygoing maybe at this race start. I suppose that's what free practice starts does for you. You can get a fairly decent sort of practice start. But Morris Stewart down to 14th. Alfa Romeo with currently 1 car in the points. Leo 2 wasn't able to make the race start, of course. Neither was Andrew Davis or Habib McCook. They all had just time issues, I think. And they are unfortunately not able to make the race start. But nothing has changed really, has it? Because this man is still absolutely gone here in this Grand Prix. Lewis McWilliam is absolutely gone at the front. 2.4 seconds he leads the Italian Grand Prix by. And we have just started the third lap. 1:16.6 fastest lap. Here comes Luke Davies on the outside of Leroy Vincendel. You can see the McLaren soaring past in towards turn number 1 of Tamburello. And that is Luke Davies up and through Excellent job by Lightning Luke there. He gets up and through and now has just got to try and pull away from Leroy Vinchendel and Thomas Main. That's going to be Luke's goal here. Tyler Pastilli then in 8th. Matthew. Oh, Tyler Pastilli was in 8th, but dropping down past Matthew Stotts. I'm not sure if that's Tyler's issue or if that was a good move from Matthew Stotts. We didn't really catch it. The Williams has got to try and... yeah, the Williams has got to try hold this position now. Thought Pastilli was going to try it back up the inside. Not able to get the job done. Lap 3 of 22 here. We're going to run a little bit on, folks, but hopefully the race does. It's ran quick enough and we can get to a conclusion and crown our winner this Italian Grand Prix. Lewis has made a mistake somewhere along the lap, or Luke Davies has become lightning speed. I would imagine it's the first one, because he's lost a second and Luke's not really gained over Leroy Vinchendel, so it is more than likely not a Lewis McWilliam issue. Luke I should say, picks up the curb a little bit too heavy, heading through the Ravazza, and now might be under pressure from Leroy Vinchendel. Here comes the Dutchman, looking to get past Luke Davies, heading in towards turn number 1. Leroy definitely seems quicker than Thomas Main in this race. We had of course the earlier laps in this one before we had the restart, where we saw Leroy be slightly quicker, and now we're seeing Leroy be slightly quicker again, and he's up and into second spot here in this Grand Prix. And there's a yellow flag. That's Matthew Stotts, who's gone off. Not sure what's happened to him. Gravel on the tyres, still going in a straight line as Matthew Stotts. He's down to 14th position here in this Grand Prix. There seems to be trouble on the start for Rick Debray, Enrique Perez and Tim Denhire, but Lewis McWilliam now finding himself in a bit of a better rhythm as Luke Davies attacks Leroy Vinchendel. Seems like this is going to be a bit of a DRS race heading through here, because it's Luke Davies who's able to keep with Vinchendel in the middle sector. Thomas Main is able to keep with Luke Davies, and of course they gain and re-overtake on the main straight. Here comes Thomas Main then, tucked into the slipstream, trying to overtake the McLaren. Thomas has used a lot of battery to keep up with Luke Davies here, and Leroy trying to just get, I suppose, give Thomas a bit of a slipstream in towards turn number 1 to Tamburello, but it's not worked out that way, and Luke Davies is going to have to sit behind Leroy, because it seems like the two Aston Martins are trying their best to work together here in this Grand Prix. Down in towards Toza, still keeping nip and tug. Matthew Stotts into the pit lane, presumably for damage repairs. I think he might have spun and hit the barrier on the exit of the Verante Tamburello. Also, please let me know if the mic issues are any better. I'm watching it and I'm sat about 500 metres from the microphone and still flatlining it, so I really don't know what's going on anymore. It seems like it's just one of those evenings, ladies and gentlemen. My microphone is also, volume is also on 0, so I'm not overly sure what's happening. Oh, hold on a second, that seems to be a little bit better. Hopefully it is a little bit better. But once again, folks at home, thank you very much for bearing with us with all the issues. This race is going to run to conclusion. I think we're finally onto a winner here in this Grand Prix. We're finally gonna get a race ran. Here comes Luke Davies down in towards turn number 1. The McLaren man gonna try and get past Leroy Vinchendel in towards turn number 1 to Tamburello. He's got to be careful. Vinchendel hangs around the outside. Luke Davies gets a bit of a shove onto the sausage curb on the outside. He's got to be careful there, does Luke Davies, because exactly this could happen. Thomas Main tries it round the outside into the Verante Villeneuve. He's up and through. It's an Aston Martin 2-3 here, shoved. The block pass almost on Luke Davies. Luke tried to get back up the inside, heading in towards the turn 7 hairpin of Toza. That's not worked out, and Luke Davies is going to sit behind for the time being. And now it's a Mercedes-powered podium here in Imola. The Mercedes power working very well here in the early stages of this Grand Prix. Let us know who you think is going to win this one, as we are almost starting lap number 7. So we're ticking through the laps fairly quickly here, folks. That's a very interesting one. Lewis McWilliam picks up a 3-second time penalty. Maybe pushing a little bit too hard here in the early stages of the race. Lewis picking up a 3-second time penalty. As of right now, it wouldn't really affect him because he's going to pull that 3-second gap anyways, but that could hurt him later in the race. Safety car is enabled this time round. That was the issue in the first one. It is enabled this time round, so there is every chance we could get a late safety car in this one, and Lewis may be a sufferer of that. I imagine this is going to be a medium hard strategy for those up the front of this race. As we can see, Leroy just backing up Thomas. For the sake of the championship, surely Leroy is going to let Thomas through. I can't imagine why he wouldn't, but I imagine definitely for the sake of the championship, Lewis is going. Or Lewis, apologies, folks. I'm completely bewildered in this Grand Prix. But I imagine for the sake of the championship, Leroy is going to let Thomas Main through, come towards the end of the race. But there's no point doing it now. You're just tripping over yourself. Here is your championship standings. A reminder, before this round, it's Lewis McWilliam on 37 points, ahead of Luke Davies in second on 30, and then Thomas Main on 28. Jake Marsh on 16, followed by Tyler Bastilli in 14. Jake Marsh, a name I don't think we've mentioned this evening. He's running in 8th behind Aaron McFall. He is on the medium compound of tyres. And not having that shabby of a race, you can see Bastilli gets past Con Dulger in towards turn 17 of Rivazza. And in towards turn 18, also called Rivazza. Jake Marsh now attacking Aaron McFall. Seems like the soft tyres may be starting to fall off a little bit. Here comes Jake Marsh heading down towards turn number 1 of Tamburello. Seems to be a swap for the 2 Aston Martins as well. That seems like it's going to be a tactical pass. Thomas Main gets past Leroy Vinchendel. Jake gets past Aaron McFall despite muddling up his brakes a little bit. He gets the job done and is past Aaron McFall. Leroy Vinchendel looking to pressure Thomas Main into Toza, but obviously he's probably not going to try and overtake at this stage in the Grand Prix. He's got to just sit behind and see what he can do. Lewis McWilliam then leads by 3.6 seconds in this one. What is actually going to be able to stop Lewis? Because he won 2 championships on the bounce. Luke gave him a real good go last season. And oh, look at this, side by side for the Aston Martins. Let's hold that thought. Leroy thought he was going to try to inside into the Verante Alta. But he thought better than that, and Leroy Vinchendel is going to sit behind for the time being. And maybe play as a bit of a wingman potentially here in this one. He might just play as a wingman and hope to sit behind and try fend off from Luke Davies. I think it's safe to say Leroy and Luke don't really like each other. So this might be a bit of an interesting battle as we start lap number 9. Very early stop. Liam Houseman first into the pit lane. Oh, as is Aaron McFall, which would make me believe that's tactical for the soft tyre runners. Here comes Leroy Vinchendel. The Aston Martins are boxing Luke Davies in. Luke's going to try through the outside of Tamburello. Gives a bit of a shove, and there's a half spin between himself and Thomas Main. Luke losing big time as we see Jake Marsh go around in the background into the wall, and out of the Italian Grand Prix goes Jake Marsh. The safety car is deployed. Phew, it's working. But the safety car is deployed here in this race. Oh, it's a brilliant strategy for Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. It's going to be heartbreaking if your name is Liam Houseman or Aaron McFall. They just came into the pit lane, but Jake Marsh spinning under his own accord. Oh, it was looking like Jake was a little bit rejuvenated and was maybe back to his old self a little bit in Austria. But unfortunately, it's the Jake Marsh 2.0 that we don't really like. We like to see Jake doing well. Great guy is Jake Marsh. We like to see him doing really well, and unfortunately he is he's out of the Italian Grand Prix here on its 3rd attempt. Let's see then. Surely it's going to be everybody boxing for hards. I can't see why it wouldn't be. Lewis McWilliam gonna get ready to pull into the pit lane. Absolutely, absolutely, without question. Lewis McWilliam pulls into the pit lane. I think the microphone issues, which I keep rambling on about, I think they're a little bit better, folks. Just, yeah, I'm very sorry once again. I really am. Yeah, everyone needs to. Oh, that's bold from Lewis McWilliam. He's gone for the softs. Is everyone going to follow suit? No. Vinchendel, hards. Oh, double stack for Aston Martin and for McLaren, but Main's going to lose out a lot more than Con Dulger is. Here, Con will sort of down the order as well. It's a very split strategy. It is a really split strategy here in Formula Virtual Racing. Liam back into the pit lane here, actually. So he's not going to. He could have got a few spots. I really don't know why Liam is pit. He's going for another set of soft tyres, but I thought those mediums would have been the way to go to the end of the race. And he could have got a few spots, would have had a good tyre till the end of the Grand Prix, but no, going for another set of softs. Interesting. From Liam Houseman. Interesting. From Tim Denhire. Has Tim already made a pit stop here in this one? No, he hasn't. Tim Denhire, the only man not to make a pit stop here in this Grand Prix. He's trying something different. And if we didn't have enough chaos, now we have Tim Denhire on an older tyre staying out in this race. No, we don't, because he's just spun while I was changing a tab. Oh, dearie me. You wouldn't get this anywhere else. You really wouldn't get this anywhere else. Well, it's now Leroy Van Chendel in second position in this race. One Dutchman for another. Con Dulger has been given a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. I imagine that will be removed post-race by the post-race stewards. As I can't see why it wouldn't be. To be totally honest with you, I can't see why it would not be removed. So then, to run you through your order, it is Lewis McWilliam who leads, followed by Leroy Van Chendel in second. Luke Davies then in third, followed by Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in fourth. Tyler Pistilli in fifth position, followed by Thomas Main in sixth. He dropped to sixth on the hard tyres. And Aaron McFall in seventh, Niels Hartle in eighth, followed by Con Dulger in ninth. Tim Denhire then in 10th after his moment, but still has to make a pit stop. And it's Morris Stumer in 11th, followed by Borbune in 12th, Enrique Perez in 13th, Liam Houseman 14th, Matthew Stotts in 15th, and Victor Bray in 16th position. After the abomination that we've witnessed this evening, this is a little bit more like Formula Virtual Racing. We're halfway through the race almost, and Lewis leads with Luke potentially looking to steal a win at Imola. How dramatic would that be? Liam not too happy with him trying the undercut. Unfortunate for Liam Houseman. Let's see how the remainder of this race does go. Folks, I think it's probably about time where I run you through a couple of random Imola fun facts, because we've nothing else to discuss under the safety car. Well, Imola's full name, which is the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo E. Dino Ferrari, was changed in 1970. It was renamed in honour of Enzo's son Dino. Enzo's name was added following his death in 1988. The driver's title has never been decided in Imola, but two constructors' titles have. Williams won their first title in 1980, while Mercedes won their 7th in a row in 2020. Formula 1 CEO Stefano Domenicali was born in the town of Imola, which of course unfortunately suffered bad floods this year ahead of the Italian Grand Prix in Imola. Yuji Ida lost his super license after a crash with Christian Albers in the 2006 San Marino Grand Prix. Oh, how I would love to strip Aaron McFall. No, I'm only joking, of course. Christian Albers, though, I do believe was in a Toro Rosso. Aaron, of course, in an Alpha Tauri. Right then, Lewis McWilliam has got a safety car restart to do, but I don't think he's going to be too annoyed about it, because he is on a much better tyre than the man behind him, Leroy Van Chendel. Luke Davies is not going to mind this too much either, because if he can keep within 3 seconds of Lewis McWilliam, he could well win this Grand Prix. Luke won his first race here, the Italian Grand Prix at Imola. He beat Legend Rosenberg, Legend getting a post-race penalty, and that allowed Luke to take the victory. Lewis rounds turn 18 of Ravazza as we go racing. It's a brilliant race restart for Lewis McWilliam. He's caught Leroy Van Chendel napping. Luke straight on the battery button, heading in towards turn number 1. So is Tyler Pistilli in the background, looking to overtake Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Here comes lightning Luke Davies in towards turn number 1. Can he get the job done? No, he's going to have to sit behind for the time being. Big stand from Pistilli around the outside, bumps over the sausage curb. Contact between the American and the Canadian, and Aaron McFall has managed to gain a spot off that one as well. Thomas Main being bumped and banged in towards the Verante Villeneuve, and Aaron McFall takes 6th spot here in this Italian Grand Prix. Luke still trying it around the outside of Toza here on Leroy Van Chendel. Leroy trying the ultimate Checo Perez defensive job here at Imola, just trying to hold Luke up enough so Thomas Main can get a few spots and get back closer to one of many championship rivals here in the early parts of the season. Luke Davies going to try it up the inside into Aqua Minerale. He's had better thoughts than that. Lewis is gone here in this one. He's almost pulled the 3 seconds already. There's going to be no issues, I think, for Lewis McWilliam come the end of this race, although I've said that one too many times, and I would not be surprised if I jinx him. Con Dulger looking for a spot as well on Niels Hartle, not able to get the job done. Luke Davies Still attacking Leroy Van Schendel. Is he going to go from into the Ravazza? And Leroy's got to get the slipstream down towards turn number 1. Luke Davies up the inside in towards turn 17. They're side by side in towards 18 now. Van Schendel got to be pushed onto the curb. Stays within track limits. Luke's got to bolt to the exit. And Mr. Lightning himself is going to take second position in this Grand Prix. Seems like he's better straight line speed than the Aston Martin as well. And I think Luke will be okay in second spot. He's used all his battery trying to get past. That's how crucial a move it is, though. He closes off Leroy Van Schendel on the sort of channel of an entrance in towards the new Tamburello chicane. Pistilli looking up the inside of Leroy Van Schendel. It's the complete wrong tyre strategy in what was going to be a great race so far from Aston Martin Cognizant. It's not gone well at all for them, and Tyler Pistilli is up to third, but also has a 3-second time penalty that he's got to be careful of. Further down the order, it is Matthew Stotts attacking Liam Houseman. Still really don't know why Liam pit off his mediums. They're going to be a good tyre to the end of the race. But he obviously feels comfortable that the softs will make it, and the softs will do a good enough job. Heading in towards Aqua Minerale, Luke Davies now only has the ultimate test. Can he stay within 3 seconds of Lewis McWilliam and win this Italian Grand Prix? Both of these drivers have won one race so far this season. Luke winning in Las Vegas, Lewis winning in Austria, and as we have a break week next week, I'm sure Luke would love to be the man who has won 2. But still plenty of racing to do here in this Italian Grand Prix. Con Dulger looking to attack Thomas May. DRS now enabled. That's going to make life easier a little bit maybe for Tyler Pistilli to have a go at Luke Davies as he almost clips that Qatar Airways sponsorship in towards turn number 1. Here comes Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. He's overtaking Leroy Van Schendel. The hard tyre is the complete wrong one for these drivers. It is the complete wrong tyre to be on. And Leroy and Thomas are going to have to scrap for their lives here if they want to get a good result in this Italian Grand Prix. Yellow flag in Sector 1. That is... oh, it's not Liam Houseman, but he's side by side with his teammate. That's Rick Debray who's overtaken Liam. What's happened to Liam here? His pace completely dropping off in Imola. Tries it the long way around the outside on Rick Debray, and Rick spins just in front of Liam Houseman. Round goes Debray. Houseman is going to take 12th spot, and I think it was Borbune who caused that initial flag in the first sector. Luke has actually not lost time in this lap, but he's got to be really careful because Tyler Pistilli is getting ready to attack as they enter the Varante Alta. Head on to do start finish straight. Tyler Pistilli has going to attack Lightning Luke Davies in towards turn number 1. Here comes Pistilli trying it down the inside. Luke is not going to be able to do much about this one, and I think what Luke's got to hope is that Pistilli is able to close in on Lewis McWilliam, which he is doing. He is doing, to be fair. Luke 2.7 behind. He's got to hope that Luke Davies is able... apologies, completely lost my train of thought. What I was going to say is Luke Davies is going to hope that Tyler Pistilli is able to close in and battle with Lewis McWilliam, and that would make this race thoroughly interesting as we're getting into the closing stages of it. Of course, this is a reduced length race. 35% is this Grand Prix, but full points will still be awarded according to Formula Virtual Racing rules and regulations. They head into the Varante Alta. Needs to just get that a little bit closer. It's a 3-second penalty for Lewis McWilliam. Oh, there's another penalty there for Pistilli. And... well then. That is... the... I have no words. Pistilli's received a penalty through the Varante Alta and driven into the wall. Unless that was some sort of failure for Pistilli? Well then, I know he wasn't happy with the restart, but he certainly isn't happy now. Liam Houseman picks up a drive-through penalty. Pistilli's going to be in big trouble for that one. And by big trouble I mean probably won't need to do any practice for the next Grand Prix trouble, if he has just driven into the wall due to receiving a penalty. Next time, of course, we head to Monaco and Houseman's given up as well. Remember the UGE, the fact I said earlier about someone being stripped from their super license in Imola? No, I'm just kidding. It's certainly a moment of weakness for Tata Pastilli. I really don't know what we've just witnessed. I'm not entirely sure on what's just happened here in Imola. There's no word from Pastilli yet. He's not said anything. I imagine Lewis McWilliam is going to be absolutely furious because he was pulling the gap over Luke. Now he's in a right bother. Luke Davies could definitely have a very strong chance of winning this freak Italian Grand Prix. There was plenty of questions on if Imola will remain on the calendar. I definitely don't think it will for next season. But my goodness me, is it throwing a very interesting twist on this season. It's been quite freakish. Well, what are these guys going to do? They're going to pit? No. Lewis and Luke stays out. They got to stay track position, surely. Liam retires from the race after serving that drive-through. I don't like that. I think Liam could have definitely carried on and tried to get something from this race, but my God, has Liam had a frustrating time in Formula Virtual Racing. Liam also involved in an incident with not Kyle Albert, apologies, he was talking to Kyle in the Discord with Enrique Perez. I don't think Kyle was involved in an incident in this race. I wouldn't be surprised if he was with the way this one's going. Well then, lap 17 of 22. I imagine we'll get restarted on this lap, which would give us 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. It gives us 5 laps for Lewis McWilliam to go on what can only be described as a time trial session to try to win this Grand Prix. This is crazy. This really is. This is madness. Can't save drive-through under the safety car. That's a good point, Yathan. Yeah, thank you for pointing that one out, Yathan. You can't save your drive-through under the safety car, so Liam was done in this race, pretty much. Well then, let's see if the safety car is in this lap. No, I don't think it is. It is, okay. It was a delayed call, slightly delayed call, but the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. And Lewis McWilliam will have to do one of the best restarts of his life if he wants to win this Grand Prix. While we do have a brief moment, let's actually just quickly check Lewis McWilliam's warnings to see, does he have 3? Oh no, he does have an extra one, so that penalty can't even be removed. What is it like for Luke Davies? Is Luke on a clean slate? No, Luke has 1, okay, but that's a lot better than what Lewis McWilliam is running. Right then, it's the 2 modern-day titans of Formula Virtual Racing who are going to go scrapping at it for the race victory here in Imola. Lewis McWilliam pumps it out of the Ravazzas. Full throttle here, pedal to the metal as we go racing once again here in Imola. Jurgensmeyer could play a big part in this race as well. He's looking for a podium. Last year's rookie of the season looking for a podium. Luke Davies doesn't even want to hang about here. He wants to go for the race lead in towards Tamburello. Not going to get it done. Lewis just a bit quick on a straight line. Thomas Main's hard tyres got to come into play a little bit more here as these tyres, the soft tyre to be exact, will be wasting a little bit. But I think Lewis and Luke should be okay to the end of the race. Look at Lewis, he's trying to back up Luke Davies here, heading in towards Tosa. Lewis wants Jurgensmeyer to dive up the inside. Jurgensmeyer has did that. Luke Davies tries to hang it around the outside. Juan Pablo Montoya style as Luke Davies leads in Imola. Oh, what's happened to Lewis? He's dropping spots and dropping spots fast. 4th position now for the Scotsman here in Imola. It's all gone wrong for Lewis. I said many times, this one looked like it wasn't going to slip away from him. It absolutely might. It's now a straight fight for the win between Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and Luke Davies. It's a man who's won once here in Imola. It's a man who's never won in Formula Virtual Racing before. And this is an insane conclusion to what's been a very dramatic Italian Grand Prix. I really don't know what happened to Lewis. He's really struggling with his tyres, and he shoves Main onto the grass here in the Ravazzas. Main dives McWilliam on the curb. It's scrappy, it's pushed to pass S Racing as Aaron McFall up the inside. The champion is falling. Lewis McWilliam is fading away here in this Grand Prix. He's fallen down the order. I don't know what's happened to the Scotsman. Gotta be some sort of issue. Here comes Jurgensmeyer to lead in Formula Virtual Racing, trying it round the outside, heading in towards Tamburello, and he's got the job done. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer leads here in Imola. Luke Davies in second position. Can't quite get it done. Aaron McFall trying up the inside, and that's Aaron in the wall. That is Aaron rounding into the wall. Lewis gets a spot or two back. Aaron is not out of the race officially. He's not retired, but he may as well be gone from it. It won't be a positive result for Aaron McFall here in this race. We enter in towards Piratella. Jurgensmeyer still in the race lead. Luke is gonna want the race win here. He's going to want it because he didn't win enough last season. He only won 2 races last season, and he wasn't able to seal the championship. It's only 1 so far this season. If he was able to win here in Imola on pace, that would be an absolute huge turning point in this Formula Virtual Racing Drivers' Championship. I believe that was Thomas Main who picked up a 5-second time penalty. The penalty's coming in thick and fast here. It was a 5-second time penalty for Thomas Main. That may well be removed by the post-race stewards, but that will all be decided after the race. Jurgensmeyer starts the weave. A lot of NASCAR and IndyCar experience for Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. He'll know well how to handle a slipstream battle. But Luke Davies, a lot of Imola winning experience. Luke Davies once again leads the Italian Grand Prix. What Luke is obviously going to go for here is that Jurgensmeyer overtakes him on the next lap, and then Luke can get him on the last lap is what he's presumably going to go for. Thomas is falling on these hard tyres. The quick softs just much quicker from Enrique Perez and Rick Debray. Jurgensmeyer heading in towards Toza, 0.3 of a second behind. Vincendel might even pose a fight here. Gotta say, this is a phenomenal race by Leroy Vincendel. The strategy's not worked out too well here. He was slightly affected due to the safety cars and maybe a poor tyre choice, but he's driven phenomenal here in this Grand Prix. Thomas Main down to 10, though, overtaken by Timden Higher. That's not something you folks, we've been streaming for quite a while, so my laptop is unfortunately starting to just suffer a little bit. I think it's recovered now, as Lewis picks up another 3-second time penalty. Here comes Leroy Vincendel, looking for around the outside in towards the Ravazzas. I just want to share this really quickly before we start the penultimate lap of the race. The way to fix lag on my laptop is to put it resting on a pen. That's quite interesting. Fun fact for you on how the broadcast works. Here in Formula Virtual Racing, Jurgensmeyer suffering with his battery. Luke Davies just as much, as is Leroy Vincendel. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer gonna lead the penultimate lap here in Imola. Jurgensmeyer gets the job done. Luke Davies sits in second. How is Luke going to play this one? How is Jurg going to play this one? They're both going for what could be crucial victories in their careers. Luke has won before, of course. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer has not. No one from the United States has ever won here in Formula Virtual Racing before. Vincendel attacked from Lewis McWilliam. Another fun fact is here that Luke Davies would equal Thomas Main's win tally if he was able to win here in the Italian Grand Prix. That's a fun fact that Thomas won't like in the slightest. Entering into towards Aquaminarale, Luke Davies Jurgensmeyer, I should say, just running a little bit wide. Luke Davies trying to pressure in towards the Varante Alta. Luke cannot mistime this or even make a mistake because he's got 2 cars breathing down his neck. Both have penalties, mind you, or apologies, Lewis and Colin Dorger have penalties. Leroy does not. In towards the Ravazza for the final time. Jurgensmeyer trying DRS games. Luke won in a similar experience here. Vincendel trying it up the inside. McWilliam now on the outside. We enter the final lap. There's 5 cars going. 3 of them going for their first ever race victory here at Imola. Luke Davies starts the final lap of the Grand Prix, attacking Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in towards turn number 1. The McLaren's won here before. The McLaren leads here at Imola. Jurgensmeyer falls to second. Still a great result if it stays like it is. Lewis McWilliam wants to hound Jurgensmeyer and try to get every inch of pace out of that Mercedes that he possibly has. Entering in towards the Varante Villeneuve for the final time, and then in towards Toza, the long left-hander, where Luke Davies pulled off a crucial move here in Imola. Vincendel in 4th. He's going to get the spot over McWilliam, meaning it will be a podium for the Aston Martin of Leroy Vincendel. An impressive result from Leroy as they then enter in towards Aqua Minerale for the final time. Luke just needs to drive smooth and carefully through here, not pick up any penalties. Lewis McWilliam now attacking Jonathan Jurgensmeyer into the Verante Alta. He's not gone for it, he's got to just sit behind Lewis. Has a bit more sense than that one. Luke exits. Is Jurgensmeyer going to have a last lap dash up the inside? He absolutely is not. Luke Davies has bolted away from this one. The soft tyres just about holding on. That second safety car period would have definitely helped him here. He rounds the final corner here in Imola. Out of the final Ravazza, it's been 3 British Grand Prix winners here in Imola. It's going to be a 7th career win for Luke Davies, who wins the Italian Grand Prix for a 2nd time in his career. What a crazy day in Formula Virtual Racing. Leroy Vincendel 3rd, Jurgensmeyer in 2nd. Enrique Perez will beat his teammate in 4th. Condolgo in 6th, Bune in 7th, Debray 8th, Den Heyer 9th, Stumer in 10th, picking up a point for Alfa Romeo. Yathan and Avesta will be delighted. Thomas Main out of the points. Is that the championship fight over for Thomas Main on only the 3rd round? We'll have to wait and see. Aaron is going to bring it home slowly. Lightning always strikes first. And on a day where Lewis McWilliam looked like absolutely nothing was going to take this win away from him, it's the man who he sometimes envies who's going to steal it once again. He will steal the applause. He will steal this 15, 16. Well, no, hold on. 20. I was thinking of a different league's point system. The 20 Formula Virtual Racing points. Incredible. You couldn't write it. Give this one to Christopher Nolan. He couldn't write something like this. He really couldn't. I imagine there's got to be a lot of controversy around this. Because if I'm speechless, I can only imagine how some of the drivers are. Kyle Albert saying, now is Luke frauded that one? I wouldn't really call that one frauded. He did have to fight Jurgensmeyer at the very end. He did certainly have to fight, and the McLaren man stands on top here in Imola. Well then, your full race results for the Italian Grand Prix. It is Luke Davies on top, followed by Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in 2nd and Leroy Vincendel in 3rd. My goodness me, is that a weird podium for this season. Enrique Perez in 4th, Lewis McWilliam in 5th. Still gets a fastest lap point, crucially, so that's good for Lewis. He will pick up a fastest lap point. Then it's Condolgo in 6th, Borbune in 7th, Rick Debray in 8th, Tim Den Heyer in 9th, and Morris Stumer in 10th. Thomas Main in 11th, Aaron McFall in 12th. The non-finishers were Nils Hartl, Matthew Stodds, Liam Houseman, Tyler Pistilli, and Jake Marr. Ladies and gentlemen, I can only thank you enough for sticking with us for this evening. It's not been the smoothest and proudest running of Formula Virtual Racing broadcasts and races of all time, but we appreciate your support so much, just for sticking around and watching. I know I certainly haven't been at my best this evening and the microphone issues and stuff, but you just sticking around, commenting on the stream, it really does mean a lot to everybody at the league. We, and me especially, we absolutely work our behinds off to make this the best series possible, and you watching certainly helps that. We'll have no post-race interviews this evening due to the long duration of this race. I'm sure a few of the drivers would like maybe an ice bath or something to recover after that. But thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. Once again, no race next week. We have a break week, and then we head to the Principality of Monaco for another very interesting experience of Formula Virtual Racing. My name's been Evan Dalton. Stay safe, stay well, and we shall see you next time. Bye-bye. This program is brought to you by Simulus Clothing, official title sponsors of Formula Virtual Racing.